Coming up next on Eyewitness News, there is no joy in Mudville. The Mets let one slip away in the 12th inning at Shea. Earlier, the Dodgers' Kirk Gibson hit the game-winning home run and ties the playoffs at 2 games apiece. We will have live team coverage. And in Chicago tonight, a radical black leader vows revenge in the Tawana Brawley case. He issues a death threat.
Also ahead, the annual Irish Solidarity Day turns into an anti-Ed Koch rally. And officials in Yugoslavia are on the verge of declaring martial law as thousands of demonstrators take to the streets. We'll have those stories and more coming up next on Eyewitness News.
Here, Schroeder, I've written a jingle for MetLife. You've got your whole life and term life and universal life too. Your MetLife rep will tell you which is best for you. Call your MetLife rep and give it a try. You'll be glad you did, so get Met.
Oh, that's awful.
I hope you realize Beethoven never wrote even one successful jingle. Get Met, it pays.
And now, on with the opera.
From the people who brought you big screen television comes the sound to go with it.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give.
Introducing Mitsubishi Home Theater Systems, now playing at a dealer near you.
To fully appreciate the superb handling and performance of Lincoln Mark 7 LSC, the makers of Mark 7 urge you to do these 3 things. Drive it. Drive it. Drive it. Lincoln. What a luxury car should be.
Disappointed TV stars tomorrow on The Oprah Winfrey Show.
You're watching Channel 7 Eyewitness News with John Marler and Rolonda Watts. Scott Clark has sports, Sam Champion with weather, and the Eyewitness News team. Now, Eyewitness News.
At 1 in the morning, good morning. Another wild and dramatic ball game at Shea Stadium. The Magic falling short. The Mets going down to defeat 5-4 to the Dodgers. That series now tied 2 apiece with the 5th game later today, this afternoon. The final out coming a few moments ago in the bottom of the 12th with the bases loaded. Orel Hershiser pitching to Kevin McReynolds. Kevin hits one into short center field. It is caught by John Shelby. A remarkable game, and Corey McFerrin is live at Shea with details for us. Corey?
Boy, the tension out here was unbelievable. I'm sure you felt it at home, wherever you're watching this ball game. And I'll tell you what, right now, I guess the Mets know how the Dodgers must have felt after games 1 and 3 when the Mets came back from the dead. And the Dodgers, not at all a team that's used to coming back. In fact, one stat I heard tonight, after 7 innings of play during the regular season when the Dodgers were behind, they only came back on 1 occasion out of 61 times when that occurred. Unbelievable. Let's go back right now, though, to the 4th inning when the Mets seemed to take control of this ball game. Their power came to the fore. Go to those highlights right now. John Tudor trying to protect a 2-0 lead. Darryl Strawberry with 1 on just blasts it out of here. You know it's gone immediately. A 2-run shot, and it's all tied up. Straw's first home run of the series. Next batter would be Kevin McReynolds. And watch what happens. He had been hitless until this shot right here, and it is crunched to left field. Gibson going back, forget about it, it's gone. 3-2 Mets in front, the place going wild. Now we shift to the 9th inning. Mets lead 4-2. Dwight Gooden on the hill, but he gives up this 2-run shot. Mike Scioscia, corner, and it's 4-4 for Scioscia, who hit only 3 home runs all year long. Quite an upset there as Scioscia takes Gooden downtown. Gooden had given up only 3 hits to that point. And now to the 12th against Roger McDowell. Here's Kirk Gibson. And this thing is kissed to right center field. It's gone. Gibson came in 1 for 16. 5-4. The Dodgers take it. And of course, you saw that dramatic Bottom of the 12th inning, Kevin McReynolds, the line shot out here. John Shelby came in to make the grab. Again, the series all knotted up at 2. The Mets had a chance to really put the Dodgers on the ropes tonight, and it's quite a ball game, one that will go down in playoff history, I'm sure, as one of the most dramatic and exciting of all time. Right now, let's go outside to Tappy Phillips. Tappy?
Well, Corey, it's been a marathon for these Mets fans. Of course, many of them did leave early, but a lot of these hardcore fans, they stuck it out to that bitter, very bitter end for them. Of course, they did keep the faith the whole time. The Mets are known for their come-from-behind wins, so these fans, they never lost hope. True to form, the Mets started out behind for 3 innings. They couldn't get a run, but knowing their team can and often does come from behind and win, the fans never gave up hope.
The Mets are #1, and that's it. They always have to come back, and they always do it. And we're going to win. We're going to be going to Oakland.
The amazing Mets. They've been behind every game. They're going to come back. No problem with that.
They're going to come back. No problem. Give them time. The Mets are known for it.
A couple of dedicated fans even made up a Mets Mania dance to celebrate the evening. Then those back-to-back homers in the bottom of the 4th inning put the Mets on top, and the Mets fans' faith was restored.
Met magic is back in '88.
What'd you think when you saw those 2 home runs?
Oh, it was just great, man. The Mets going to win everything. Let's go. Get the feeling, yeah. It was great. Let's go, Mets. Yeah. We're going to beat them in 5. Not in 6. 5 games, Mets all the way. You just saw it. 2 home runs in a row. Back to back. Yeah.
But it was not to happen after 12 long innings. These Mets fans are leaving. Disappointed?
Oh, not so disappointed. We'll get them tomorrow, and then we're going to Oakland. We're going to kick their butt.
Is it going to happen? It'll happen.
We'll win it. Woo!
See, these fans, they never give up hope. And if there is one consolation, at any rate, there's less than 12 hours now until they get another shot at it. I'm Tappy Phillips, live outside of Shea. Back to Corey inside.
Tappy, thank you very much. Again, 5-4, the final. Dodgers take it in 12. A wild game tomorrow. Game 5, the pivotal Game 5, starts at noon. You can see it right here on ABC. Back with more in about 10 minutes. Back to the studio now.
Okay, thank you, Corey. There is news from other parts of the world this morning. Yugoslavia is on the brink of martial law as violent demonstrations continue to shake the country and its communist government. Ethnic and economic unrest has gone on for the last 3 months, with inflation running at more than 200% a year. Yugoslavia's president went on national television to appeal for calm, the first speech of its kind in 20 years. But demonstrations are reported to have gone on after the address. Israeli forces swept through 30 villages in the West Bank, killing 3 Palestinians in a hunt for suspected agitators. Riots have increased in recent weeks, with the government saying Palestinians are trying to influence the upcoming Israeli elections. Members of the Israeli peace movement took to the streets of Tel Aviv the other night, pressing their demand that Israel give up the West Bank and Gaza Strip in exchange for peace.
A rally in New York City turned into a forum to attack a well-known politician. It was a time for Irish solidarity, but also a time to put Mayor Ed Koch on notice. David Navarro explains what it's all about.
As local politicians joined organizers on the stage of the 8th annual Irish Solidarity Day rally in Lower Manhattan, one man was conspicuously absent, Ed Koch. The mayor, who refused to meet with the leaders when he learned IRA supporters were included in the group, found himself the butt of their jokes today as they vowed to organize the Irish vote against the mayor in next year's election.
In next year's mayor's elections, it's important that the Irish-American community work to defeat Ed Koch. That no matter what else, they have to put everything else aside and work to drive Ed Koch from City Hall.
The mayor is still trying to mend fences with the New York Irish community after making pro-British statements during his July visit to Northern Ireland. He's since apologized for the remarks, but remains staunchly against meeting with the IRA supporters.
I don't have to sit down and talk with people who support terrorism. They wanted to come in and talk to me. And I said, no, you can write to me, but I'll never sit down with terrorists or their supporters, because all I do then is give them a forum.
But Special Prosecutor Charles Hines, who is being wooed to run in the next mayoral election, remained critical of Koch.
And it's sort of a phony issue, and if he really condemns terrorism, if that's the reason why he would meet with Galvin, then he had no business meeting with Tom King, who is who's been in charge of British terrorism in the north of Ireland.
Mayor, tell me how you feel you're sitting right now with the Irish community in New York.
I really don't know. I hope I'm doing well, because I think they know that for 25 to 30 years I've been supportive and continue to be supportive of the reunification of Ireland and getting the British to leave Ireland. I am against terrorism. I'm against the IRA in the same way that I'm against the PLO or the JDL and a whole host of other terrorist groups.
Nassau County Controller Peter King says today's rally is the first of upcoming Koch-free Irish events as he works toward defeating the mayor in next year's election. Reporting in Lower Manhattan, David Navarro, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Coming up next on Eyewitness News, with Tawana Brawley at his side, Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan condemns a grand jury report that said she lied. He vows revenge on Brawley's assailants.
And in our Crime Stoppers report, police need your help in finding the killer of a supermarket employee in White Plains.
With just this much tire between you and the road, you need exclusive Bridgestone technology. Bridgestone builds more than tires that perform. Bridgestone builds confidence. So at 65 miles an hour, remember this and remember Bridgestone.
12:42 p.m. entering Toyota dealership.
Hi. Hey, you're Joey Suzu. Hey guys, it's Joey Suzu.
My kids love you. Come on, what's the real difference between your Corolla and my iMart?
For starters, the Corolla's about $1,000 more.
Oh, what a feeling!
Joe, you're not going to use that in the commercial, are you?
Oh, no!
With $500 factory cash rebates, the Isuzu iMart saves you up to $1,500 over Corolla.
This year, all over Europe, there's something special in the air. American Airlines, with new low fares to Europe from $479 to $499 round trip. American Airlines, something special to Europe.
Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
Hey, country music lovers. Country 97 FM has moved. Now we're Country 103.5 FM. Nothing has changed but our spot on the dial. We still give you back-to-back country favorites, all in crystal clear FM stereo. But now you'll find us at 103.5 on your FM dial. So come on up with us to Country 103.5. Continuous country favorites, now at 103.5 FM.
What's Jackie think about Joan's new novel? It's Collins versus Collins in the battle of the bestsellers on the next Entertainment Tonight.
Monday at 7:30, right after Jeopardy, here on Channel 7.
There is a threat in the Tawana Brawley case. It comes from Louis Farrakhan, the leader of the black Muslim religious sect Nation of Islam. He attacked the grand jury report that said Brawley made up her story of being kidnapped and raped by 6 white men. And Brawley was at his side in Chicago as he talked to nearly 10,000 of his followers. He called her a mighty warrior and vowed revenge against her attackers.
They would have us believe she did all of this to herself. Put KKK on her own chest. Try writing it sometime with your own hand. And scrawl nigger on your own body. It's all right now. Because every one of these black men will kill concrete if they put their hands on this Muslim woman. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, and a life for a life. You rape my daughter, I will kill you.
He vowed to kill and dismember her attackers. The grand jury found no evidence that she had been attacked by anyone. Brawley did not make any comment at that Chicago gathering.
Back here at home in the Bronx, a murder at a supermarket. It is the topic of this week's Crime Stoppers report. Art McFarland tells us that the police know that there is a witness to this murder, and they need that person to now come forward.
It happened on May 11th of this year between 3 and 6 in the morning in the Wakefield section of the Bronx, and the crimes were homicide and burglary. Police need your help in finding the person or persons who broke into a Key Food supermarket to burglarize the store and wound up beating the night porter to death. Louis Thompson was a family man who, although divorced, was very close with his children. He had a common-law wife who he planned to marry. The victim's companion, who doesn't want to be identified, says Thompson's assailants had no reason to kill him.
If anybody wanted anything, seemed as though I didn't know that he would have gave it to him. For something like this to happen, for him to go like this, it's very hard. It's very hard for me and the kids.
Thompson was the night porter at this key food store on White Plains Road at Burke Avenue. He was alone in the store, on break, and sleeping as someone climbed onto the roof of the store and worked their way into the building through an air conditioning duct. The killer sneaked up on Thompson as he slept and began beating him to death. The victim never knew what hit him. With Thompson mortally wounded, an unsuccessful attempt was made to break into the store's safe. The frustrated suspect then made his way out of the building. Police have a partial description.
We know he's a male Hispanic, approximately 5'9", thin built, dark hair. And at the time of the homicide, the individual was wearing a white sweater, a white jacket, dungarees, and sneakers.
And Crime Stoppers presents our most wanted of the week. His name is John Richards. On the street, they call him Flacco. He's 5 feet 7 inches tall, about 140 pounds. He wears a beard and has a scar on his torso. Police say that on February 12th of this year, Richards shot a man to death and seriously wounded another during a dispute at a Harlem apartment building on West 124th Street. If you have seen John Richards, if you have any information about the murder of Lewis Thompson or on any other violent crime, call Crime Stoppers at 577-TIPS. You could receive up to a $1,000 reward if your information leads to an arrest and indictment. Art McFarland, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And coming up next on Eyewitness News, we'll go back to Corey McPherrin, who is standing by live at Shea Stadium. He has more on the amazing Mets and the victorious Dodgers.
And there's more. Scott Clark has all the NFL action, including the Jets, who are grounded in Cincinnati.
Comes from the blind side. You're right. He's...
It provides 10 years of corrosion protection, 24-hour roadside assistance, the assurance of a guaranteed resale index, and scheduled maintenance for 3 years or 50,000 miles at no extra cost. It's called the Audi Advantage, and it provides security from delivery to trade-in. Provided, of course, you buy a new Audi. The new 1989 100 and 200s, now at your Audi dealer.
In the fall, Europe sheds her summer crowds. Sights become much easier to see. A table is yours for the asking. And this fall, Pan Am has made it all affordable with Eurosavers. Surprisingly low airfares, plus a Eurosaver book with discounts on hotels, rental cars, and more. Pan Am Eurosavers, one more reason we're the #1 airline to Europe.
Macy's, you're really quite an inspiration.
With Columbus Day savings like these, 20% off men's outerwear, 20 to 40% off ladies' coats. Get a Black & Decker toaster oven broiler for just $45. Take a dazzling 20 to 50% off all diamond jewelry. A Toshiba 20-inch remote, $299. Thursday through Monday at all Macy's.
You're a part of my life. You're such a part of my life.
When my husband got sick, I didn't think of anything but him. And when he died, I wasn't prepared. There were papers and bills.
She called the Citibank 800 number to cancel his Citibank MasterCard. I thought she might need it. So I asked her if she'd like it in her name instead.
You could do that, I said. I didn't expect Citibank to help me get credit. It made a difficult time a little easier.
Not just MasterCard, Citibank MasterCard.
Of the 4,000 beers brewed in Germany, only a few have made it to America. And the one that's made it to the top is Beck's, the #1 imported German beer.
There we were, bottom of the 12th, bases loaded. It could have been big.
It could have been big. Is this a great series or what? I'm telling you, comeback after comeback on both sides, but it was the 4-bag and long ball that made the difference tonight. The Dodgers win 5-4 in 12. Series now even, 2 wins apiece. Like a broken record, though. The Dodgers score first once again. John Shelby delivers a 2-out single here. Steve Sachs and Mickey Hatcher score, and Dwight Gooden and the Mets found themselves trailing again, 2-0 after an inning. Remain that way to the 4th, and here he comes. Darryl Strawberry off John Tudor. You can kiss it goodbye. A 2-run shot for the straw man. The game was tied at 2. And then, just 2 pitches later, it's Kevin McReynolds against John Tudor, and another blast. This one goes to left field. For McReynolds, his first hit in the series. Mets take the lead 3-2, and Tommy Lasorda seemed just kind of shocked over the whole thing. Now we go to the 9th. Doc Gooden is just sailing along. He gave up only 1 hit after that first inning, but with 1 out in the top of the 9th, Mike Scioscia, the light-hitting Mike Scioscia, he doesn't hit many home runs, but he sure did tonight. He gave the Dodgers and Lasorda new life. Doc was unable to finish the 9th as, well, Davey Johnson saw his team tied up at 4. So then in the top of the 12th inning, Roger McDowell on the mound, facing Kirk Gibson, who had just 1 hit in this series until this. The deep shot over the wall in right center. McDowell gives up only his 2nd homer of the year, 5-4 Dodgers. Bottom half of the 12th, the Dodgers bring in Oral Hershiser to face Kevin McReynolds with the bases loaded. There are 2 outs, and Kevin McReynolds hits a looper to center. John Shelby comes in and makes the catch. The Dodgers hold on in a doozy of a game to win it in 12. And standing by live right now with more from Shea Stadium, Corey McPherrin. Corey.
Thank you very much, Scott. With us, Wally Backman. Wally, you saw the highlights there. How painful was that to watch?
Well, those are tough defeats, but you know, that's part of baseball. We've got to come back here tomorrow and do everything we possibly can to win and go on to L.A., and hopefully we can end it right there.
I got to ask you, 4-2, you're leading in the 9th inning. Doc Gooden has looked flawless the entire game except for that opening inning. You had to feel right then it was over.
Well, I was definitely very confident with Dwight out there, you know, and that's why he was out there, because he was definitely in command of the ball game at that point. And yeah, it's one thing about the Dodgers. They battled back today, and they've been tough on us, and nothing's ever going to be easy. That's why we got to come out here tomorrow and get our heads up and be ready to win.
And I guess they feel a little bit like you guys felt the last couple days.
Yeah, a little bit, maybe so. But, you know, the fact is we're a great ball club. We're going to pick ourselves up. We're going to be ready to play tomorrow.
All right, Wally, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, get back in and get warm.
All right.
All right, Wally Backman live, good enough to come out and talk with us a little bit. Again, if you'd missed it earlier, Dodger reliever Jay Howell, who was ejected from yesterday's ball game after the umpires discovered the pine tar on his glove, was officially suspended today for 3 days by A. Bartlett Giamatti, the National League president. Obviously, the Dodgers not thrilled by the decision, and Howell tonight answered no questions, but did issue this statement about 7 o'clock.
On today's ruling, I think that 3 days is too long. Given yesterday's ejection, I think that's 4 days, and I think percentage-wise in a playoff situation, it's too much time. And in conclusion, I'm going to confer with the Players Association and discuss what the possible chances are of a appeal.
I'll tell you something. Losing the pitcher the caliber of a Jay Howell certainly is not going to help. I didn't go to church today smiling. I didn't walk around here telling stories today. I even didn't eat good today, and you know that's affecting me.
Tommy joking about it, but believe me, he was ticked off. And I'll tell you what, tonight, the fact they got through this game and won it without Howell should jack up the Dodgers for Game 5 tomorrow. Again, it begins at noon. Back to you, Scott. A rough night here at Shea.
Okay, Corey, thank you very much. Whether it be the Mets or the Dodgers, the competition in the World Series will include the Oakland A's. They finished a 4-game sweep over the Red Sox with a 4-1 victory today to take the American League pennant. And the fans were yelling, "Jose, can you see the home run target again today?" And Jose Canseco responded with a powerful "Si, senor," sending it deep. Right at the bottom of the first, the A's would never trail in this one. And in addition, Dennis Eckersley won Series MVP honors, getting the last out en route to his 4th save, setting a championship record. Mike Gallego hauled it in to end it. The A's are headed to the World Series. Football. While the Giants take on the Eagles on Monday Night Football tomorrow night, the Jets took on the Bengals in Cincinnati today and lost 36-19, despite climbing all over the Bengals in the first few minutes. First play from scrimmage, Boomer Esiason sacked in his own end zone for a safety as Marty Lyons and Scott Mercereau converged to make it 2-0. Then when the Bengals get the ball back, they give it to Stanley Wilson, and he promptly coughs the ball up. Marty Lyons recovered. The Jets turned that into a score, 9-0 quickly. But the Bengals finally got their act together. Boomer Esiason, the quarterback for the Bengals, drops back, finds Eddie Brown beating the Jets defense. Gone for a 60-yard touchdown. The Bengals led 19-12 at the half. And then Ken O'Brien had some real problems as he was trying to get going, but he just couldn't get it in the first half. But he did get going in the second half, though. O'Brien erased that 7-point deficit by hitting Al Toon over the middle here. Toon's first touchdown reception of the season will make it 19-19. But the Bengals went on to score 17 unanswered points. 14 of them came on runs by Ickey Woods. Rushed for 139 yards and danced a bit as well. Ickey dancing. The Bengals remain undefeated, winning 36-19. I wanted to note the Kings beat the Islanders in overtime tonight, 6-5. I'm Scott Clark. That's it for sports. The Mets won't win it all at home.
Okay, thanks. Coming up next, Sam Champion will be here.
And he'll have the forecast for tomorrow's Mets game.
No matter where you drive, all the tire between you and the road is this, about the width of your finger. Here's where you need exclusive Bridgestone technology. Every Bridgestone tire is performance engineered from the ground up, which means Bridgestone builds more than tires that perform. Bridgestone builds confidence. So at 65 miles an hour, remember this and remember Bridgestone.
American's Caribbean. This year, we give you even more. More gentle breezes. More colorful shores. More of everything. With service to 19 islands and packages from $235 to $710. American Airlines, something special to the Caribbean.
The amazing Isuzu Trooper. It has a powerful fuel-injected engine, 4-wheel drive, power steering, and 4-wheel disc brakes, all standard. Yet it's over $1,000 less than Jeep Cherokee, Bronco 2, and S10 Blazer. And if you buy a Trooper now, we'll throw in this attractive car cover.
Act now and get a $750 factory rebate available on all Troopers 2 or 4-door.
Talk about the sports section. Look at the edge you've got. You've got the picture on the back page in color. I mean, everybody's going to do that, have to do that someday. But right now, in these times, Newsday is the one that's got it. And then you just go into the next page, the next page, the next page. It's that completeness, complete. Put it in there, have it on paper for people to read. Give them more than they want. Let them determine what they want.
Jimmy Breslin switched. How about you?
Hot 103 has moved to 97.1 FM. Now you can hear us everywhere. Hot 97, same hot station, better location.
Did you know you can still get a Volkswagen Fox for just $69.10? Not bad, huh?
Later today at noon, play ball, Game 5. Are you going to freeze? Here's Sam Champion with the weather forecast.
Well, we're on a little bit of a warming trend. I don't know if you want to step out the door now or you just want to wait till in the morning to figure it out on the way to the commute. But we will be a little bit warmer than we have been the last couple of days at that hour when you hit Shea Stadium. 51 degrees outside right now this morning. Relative humidity at 69%. Barometric pressure 30.07 now falling, and the winds are from the southwest at 13 miles per hour. Yeah, there's weather even at this hour outside. Let's take a look and see what we've got as far as numbers to hit for overnight lows. Looks like we'll be about 44 in the city, and we've got a little ways to go to that, but I still think we'll get that way. 43 out toward Long Island, Connecticut coastline. Yeah, you'll probably see some 40s out that way. And as you work toward Yonkers, between 42 to 44 degrees, probably right around 43. What do you think? And down just a little bit south around Toms River, about 44 as well. There are some clouds out there, but we are in a little pocket of clearing, and we're in pretty good shape as far as the sky conditions go, all the way through North Jersey, through Long Island, all the way just in the corner of southeastern New York. We've got some clouds a little bit behind us, so we will have some clouds tomorrow. But first thing in the morning, you'll start with a good amount of sunshine. Those clouds are light, so there'll probably be some light and scattered cloudiness as we start to work through that little patch right there. And we will get into some better looking sky conditions certain sections of the day as well. High pressure tried to do a really good job for us today, but still real cool out there. 58 for most of the day, got to 59, almost 60 for a high temperature out there. The next chill, though, is waiting just a little bit up to the northwest, and it is another potent one. So as we start to warm up for the next couple of days, getting near 60, probably 63 to 65 tomorrow. tomorrow. We will quickly cool down, though, by the end of the week as this Arctic drive starts to get closer and closer to us. It's also bringing some showers, so probably by Monday night into Tuesday, we'll get a little rain action and some clouds beginning to build sometime later on Monday night. But the cloud's edge probably will just catch a little bit ahead of it for the first part of Monday, probably get to 60 degrees and maybe even 63 to 65 for a high temperature, depending on how much sunshine we can get tomorrow before the clouds start to arrive by probably Monday evening. Just a few clouds out there first thing tonight, though. Already it's morning. Cool breezes, they're already out there. 44 degrees, I think, for a low temperature in the city. First thing in the morning on your commute, early sunshine, scattered afternoon clouds, 63 degrees for a temperature tomorrow night. Looks comfortable, a little bit warmer with some scattered clouds at there, 52 in the city. And the 5-day plan looks pretty good as well, but getting cool by Friday.
Okay, it's been a long night for us. Time to go home. That's Eyewitness News for this evening. Thanks for letting us be a part of your weekend. I'm Rolonda Watts.
I'm John Marler for Sam Champion, Scott Clark, and the rest of the team. Thanks for staying up late with us. Have a good day.
Bring your dreams to life with Pella wood windows and beautiful new Pella wood doors.
Bring your home to Pella.
Whatever you dream of, from a sunny sunroom to a kitchen bay, we'll help bring your dreams to life. Talk to the window experts.
Bring your home to Pella.
For your nearest Pella window store, consult your phone book white or yellow pages.
I want a kinder and gentler nation.
It's the president who defines the character of America.
I'm a quiet man, but I hear the quiet people others don't. The ones who raise the family, pay the taxes, meet the mortgage. And I hear them, and I am moved.
The president, the heart, the soul, the conscience of the nation.
In voting for European Car of the Year, judges should consider the following criteria. Performance, handling and general roadworthiness, safety, comfort.
Introducing the front-wheel drive Peugeot 405, voted European Car of the Year by the widest margin in history.
It's Joan versus Jackie on Entertainment Tonight.
From ABC News, The Weekend Report, here's Tom Jarriel.
Good evening. With the campaign clock ticking down to 1 month before the presidential election, the polls and the pollsters have been busy this weekend with results that take on added urgency for the campaigns. A newspaper poll of southern states shows Republican George Bush with surprising strength. But Democratic pollster Peter Hart says Michael Dukakis can still tighten the race because, quote, the voters haven't learned to love George Bush, unquote. The Southern strategy for the GOP is unfolding in Atlanta. Rebecca Chase reports.
As Republican leaders from 15 southern states arrived in Atlanta tonight, they were celebrating what they considered signs of a Dukakis retreat from states such as Florida, Alabama, South Carolina, and Louisiana.
They're pulling out of much of the South, pulling up stakes, pulling out staff, pulling out resources.
The Southern Republicans were also cheered by a new poll released today by the Atlanta Journal and Constitution of 2,000 voters in 15 southern states that showed Bush ahead by 12 points. The polls showed that Bush had a commanding lead in Florida of 26 points, and even in Texas, the poll showed Bush ahead by 14%. In Boston today, Governor Dukakis was asked how he thought he was doing in the South.
Doing well. Thank you.
The Dukakis campaign disputes reports that they have reduced efforts in the South, and some Bush state chairmen were saying tonight that the race in their states were closer than the polls indicated. States like Kentucky.
We're in hand-to-hand combat, and it's going to be a battleground state, I think.
At this Atlanta meeting, Republicans will be finalizing their strategy for the next 30 days.
It's two things: identifying Bush supporters, and secondly, having a mechanism to deliver them to the polls. If we do those two things, George Bush will carry every state in the South.
Despite Bush's increasing lead here in the polls in the South, the main message for these Southern Republicans will be not to become overconfident. Rebecca Chase, ABC News, Atlanta.
More demonstrators took to the streets in Yugoslavia today after a weekend of violent anti-government protest. Yugoslavia's president today threatened to impose martial law if the growing unrest does not stop immediately. Protesters are demanding the ouster of top government and Communist Party officials, over economic problems and ethnic tensions. And that's drawn the attention of both Washington and the Kremlin. Jean Meserve reports.
Yugoslavia has steered a course independent of the Soviet Union since 1948. But the wave of protest that is sweeping from one Yugoslavian province to another may have a significant impact on the Kremlin. Like Yugoslavia, the Soviet Union is a patchwork of different ethnic groups. Tensions between some of them have recently broken into the open in the Soviet republics of Armenia and Azerbaijan. Citizens of Yugoslavia and the Soviet Union also have in common economic hardship. Although events in Yugoslavia are not likely to determine the course of the Soviet Union's own internal policies, some analysts believe they could reinforce opponents of Mikhail Gorbachev's efforts to reform his country's economic and political systems.
I think it is going to reinforce whatever conservative reservations members of the Soviet leadership have about glasnost. It would remind them that there is something profoundly wrong with allowing the ethnic genie out of the bottle unless you can control it very, very carefully.
The State Department is concerned about the impact the ethnic upheaval in Yugoslavia will have on human rights. But U.S. officials, like Soviet officials, recognize there is little they can do to influence events and are simply waiting to see them unfold. Jean Meserve, ABC News, the State Department.
Coming up, the congressional rush to wrap up legislative business and hit the campaign trail. The week ahead in business. Ray Gandolf on sports and a look at Monday's weather.
Dedication, attention to detail, and caring. At Realty World, we believe these qualities are the most important considerations in helping people with the purchase or sale of their home. It's our people who make the difference and get the results. Because at Realty World, it's not just the quality of the material our jackets are made of, but the quality of the people who wear them.
Henry?
Oh, Uncle Henry, you could do better than old-fashioned Quaker oats.
Cannot. Wrong, Henry.
Total oatmeal's got 10 times the vitamin and mineral nutrition.
See, what you thought was in here is really in here.
If it's total oatmeal, it's total nutrition.
Now you can eat a whole Sara Lee coffee cake. All by yourself. New individual coffee cakes.
Nobody doesn't like Sara Lee.
With Election Day about a month away, the presidential candidates aren't the only office seekers keeping a worried eye on the calendar. Members of the 100th Congress are facing the voters too, and they still have a small mountain of legislation to act on before they adjourn, something they hope to do by week's end. Bill Greenwood reports.
The Capitol would normally be abandoned to the tourists long before now, what with 468 seats in the House and Senate to be contested in November. So it's become a daily ritual for party leaders to blame each other for delaying action on pending business.
We're ready to do business. We're ready to do the business. It's important, but not just do the monkey business. We've had enough of that.
Mr. President, it isn't monkey business. Daycare legislation, child pornography, parental leave. That's not monkey business.
Parental leave, allowing time off from work when a child is born, was killed by a filibuster last Friday. Among a dozen bills still pending is one to make the Veterans Administration a cabinet department. But a new law to fight drug pushers is the top priority. And Republican leaders went to the White House to plan a fight against liberals who may filibuster to block the drug bill.
Well, if they want to kill the drug bill, that's up to them. But we believe the American people will support us. Certainly the president will, and the House already has.
The House version authorizes the death penalty for certain drug-related murders. Another controversial provision would let police use illegally seized evidence. Still, since opinion polls list drugs as the #1 concern among voters, few, if any, congressmen want to adjourn and have to say they did nothing to combat the problem. So it's virtually certain a drug bill will be approved, probably by midweek. Bill Greenwood, ABC News on Capitol Hill.
A new Justice Department study shows crime levels rose 1.8% in 1987 after declining for 5 straight years. People living in the Northeast were the least likely to be crime victims, those in the West the most likely.
How
How fast does Anbesol relieve toothache pain? Before you can say
Anbesol.
denture pain, before you can say
Anbesol.
Anbesol stops minor mouth pain on contact. Anbesol, liquid or gel.
Testing. When my head really hurts, I don't care what anyone says. The only thing that counts is what works for me. Advil does. One's usually enough. But when my head's pounding, two make quick work of the pain. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
I'd like you to hear a very good essay from somewhat of a new source, Alan Weber. As a teacher, nothing is more fulfilling than to see a student who's been doing average work suddenly burst through with creativity. But Alan doesn't get a chance to shine often enough when classes are this size. I want to know why the people we elect can't do something about classes that are this overcrowded. And so do these kids.
That may never be. That's why I'll always joust at windmills.
In Hong Kong, where it's Monday morning, gold opened at $405.27 an ounce, a gain of just over $2 an ounce from Friday's clothing price in New York City. The anchor of ABC's Business World, Sander Van Oker, joins us now from New York with a look at what's coming up this week in business and financial news. Sander?
Tom, for the past few months, the stock market had been going down on bad news and down on good news. But elements in Friday's lower unemployment figures triggered a surge. And this week, Wall Street will be watching to see if there's a mini rally in the making. We'll also be getting the latest chapter in Wall Street's own version of a continuing drama, the Drexel-Burnham case. On Tuesday, the judge in the case will hold a hearing and decide whether to recuse himself as a result of Drexel's charges of conflict of interest. Some key economic reports are out this week. Thursday, the closely watched merchandise trade figures for August may indicate if the surge in U.S. exports is continuing. And on Friday, the Producer Price Index will tell us if the drought continues to drive food prices upward. Tom?
Thank you, Sander. The ABC News program Business World is broadcast every Sunday over most of these ABC stations.
Survey, 1,000 doctors were asked if stranded in the middle of nowhere, which one medicine would they want along? Tylenol, extra strength Tylenol, Advil, or Bayer? Doctors chose Bayer, even more than last time. Now 3-to-1 over extra strength Tylenol, 6-to-1 over Advil. More doctors than ever chose Bayer. Shouldn't you? Bayer, the wonder drug that works wonders.
In a recent survey, Maytag owners told us they're more satisfied with their Maytag dishwasher than they were with the dishwasher they had before. Here is living testimony. Maytag, with its 54 high-velocity jets of water, has unsurpassed cleaning power to take the kind of grease and grime they dish out. At Maytag, we look forward to hearing from our owners.
So would I.
Maytag, the dependability people.
Charlie Gibson, weekdays on Good Morning America.
The Oakland Athletics clinched the American League title today, completing a 4-game sweep of the Boston Red Sox. The A's used power. Jose Canseco belted his 3rd home run of the championship series, and pitching. Dennis Eckersley recorded his 4th save to win their first trip to the World Series in 14 years. In the National League, the Dodgers beat the Mets 5-4 in 12 innings, tying up that series at 2 games each. ABC will broadcast the 5th game in the National League playoffs tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. And our man Ray Gandalf joins us now from New York with a look at some of the unsung heroes and at times the villains of these playoff games, the fielders. Ray?
Thank you, Tom. Since a run saved is as good as a run scored, let's leave the sluggers and the pitchers for a minute to notice the underappreciated art of fielding as it has been performed and botched in the League Championship Series. Start with some rookies. Greg Jeffries of the Mets, pursuing a foul ball all the way into enemy headquarters. Jody Reed of the Red Sox, doing what shortstops are supposed to do. And his rival for Rookie of the Year, Walt Weiss of the A's, turning a base hit into a force out, while Mike Gallego almost makes a barehanded double play. The veteran Kirk Gibson of the Dodgers, floundering in a rain-soaked outfield, falling down, and making a spectacular catch. Dave Henderson of the A's recalling Willie Mays with a running, over-the-shoulder catch in center field. Same guy, different inning. What the fielder giveth, the fielder can take away. Even the immaculate Keith Hernandez of the Mets is not immune from Little League boners. A slippery field can make a Roger McDowell look like Harpo Marx. And when John Shelby, playing too deep to begin with, failed to handle a line drive, it cost the Dodgers a ball game. If hitters are like robust red wine and pitchers like fine champagne, the fielder is a glass of water. You don't miss him till the well runs dry. Tom?
Thanks, Ray. That's our report for tonight. Paul is on in Forest Sawyer. We'll have tomorrow's first news on World News this morning, followed by Good Morning America. I'm Tom Jarriel for ABC News. Good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News, where more Americans get their news than from any other source.